Shalom Yeladim. We are back to the double Parshiot. So this week we have Behar and Bechukotai. Parashat Hashavua, Parashat Hashavua, Behar, Bechukotai, Parashat Hashavua, Parashat Hashavua, Behar, Bechukotai. So first I'm going to tell you today all about Parashat Behar. So here is a story to teach us a lesson about the Parsha. It was the day after Rosh Hashanah. Ima, Elimelech called as he entered his home. Why is the gate to our field open? Anyone could come in and help themselves to our vegetables. Animals could stroll in and destroy our plants. Elimelech, his mother answered calmly, yesterday was the beginning of the new year. This year is the Shemitah year, the 7th year. We work in our fields for 6 years, but on the 7th year, we stop and let the earth rest. During Shemitah, we don't plant anything new or pick the produce in order to sell it. But then people can come in and do whatever they want, and take whatever they want, Elimelech exclaimed. Don't worry, dear, said his mother. Hashem gave us the commandment of Shemitah. He wants our fields to be ownerless for the 1 year, and we obey Hashem. But we don't have any fruits or vegetables to eat, Elimelech said, his forehead creased. And if Abba can't sell the produce, how will we have money for bread? Elimelech's mother placed her hand on his shoulder and smiled. Hashem promised to reward whoever followed all the halachot of Shemitah. He promised that the crops we grow during the 6th year will last for 3 years. We will have enough for the 6th year, the 7th, which is when we don't work, and the 8th year until new produce begins to grow. Do you remember last year how pleased Abba was with the produce? They were such good quality and grew in abundance. We see Hashem's promise being fulfilled. Elimelech relaxed, but he had some more questions. So we aren't allowed to pick any of the fruit that grow. Isn't it a shame for all that good fruit to go to waste? We are permitted to pick each day only an amount that we will use that same day, his mother exclaimed. It is only during the 7th year that we must follow the halachot of Shemitah, Elimelech asked. During the 8th year, we are not allowed to sell the fruits that start growing during the Shemitah year. These fruits are considered holy. We are not allowed to throw them into the garbage. The peels must be saved until they are dried out. Only then can we throw them out. Elimelech thought about all this for a moment. Then he asked, what is the reason for Shemitah? Why is it so important for Hashem that we leave our fields for an entire year? Shemitah teaches us to share what we have, since it does not belong to us at all. Yeladim, what does everything we have belong to? Everything comes from Hashem. When we abandon our fields during Shemitah, and the poor may come and help themselves, it helps remind us who really owns the land, who makes the things grow. The mitzvah of Shemitah also teaches us to have faith in Hashem, to have emunah. I know emunah, Ohio knows what emunah means. It means faith, to have faith in Hashem. We may think sometimes that our crop grows because of our hard work. We are sure that if we don't work, we will not have what to eat. When we trust Hashem during the year of Shemitah, we are showing that we believe that everything comes from who? Hashem. So what will Abba do all year now that he won't be working in the field? Asked Elimelech. That's another reason for Shemitah, said his mother. The Shemitah year gives us all the hard-working men and women a chance to learn Torah, and they get rewarded for all the time they spend learning. Elimelech skipped out to the vegetable field. He stood by the open gate where his father had hung up a big sign, Hefker, ownerless field. Whoever wants may come and take. Elimelech stood and watched. He saw many people entering their field. Some of them were strangers and some were children whose parents had sent them. They picked from the produce and left with baskets brimming with fruits and vegetables. Elimelech thought, it must be tough for Abba to abandon his field. He worked so hard for 6 years, and now anyone can come and take whatever they wish. But Elimelech realized that his father did not seem sad at all. He seemed genuinely happy to perform this great mitzvah. Elimelech decided that he wanted to have a share in the mitzvah of Shemitah. He went to the tiny garden in the backyard where he grew his own vegetables. He opened the gate and looked at the rows of plants that had taken such hard work to grow. Then he turned and ran back towards the house. When he came out again, he was carrying a big sign that read Hefker. By now, Elimelech was hoping with all his heart that many poor people, would come to enjoy the vegetables of his garden. With a smile, he stuck the sign into the ground, and as he left, he made sure to leave the gate hanging wide open. Yovel. The 50th year, which comes after 7 Shemitah years, is called Yovel. During Yovel, everything is returned to its original owner. Slaves are free to go home. Houses, fields, or vineyards that were sold are returned to the first owners. Through the mitzvah of Yovel, Hashem wants to teach us that He is the one to decide who should have what. If Hashem wants a certain house to belong to a certain person, then even if that person sells his house, the same house will be his again once the Yovel year arrives. When were the fields returned to their owners? When were the slaves free to go back to their homes? Not until after Yom Kippur of the Shemitah year. As soon as Rosh Hashanah arrived, the slaves would become very happy. They were almost free. They sat in their master's home and celebrated, so happy. At the end of Yom Kippur, the blowing of the shofar was heard throughout the land. Whoever had a Jewish slave had to set him free and give him the gifts. If someone had a field in his possession, which he had purchased, he was obligated to return it to its original owner. During the Yovel year, the Jewish people also abandoned their fields and did not work, just like in the Shemitah year. So let's review. The Shemitah year was every 7 years, and the Yovel year was every 50 years. The next thing we learn about in this week's Parsha is not to deceive others. But deceive, you're going to learn in the story, is when you tell somebody something's like it is when it's really not. It's a way of lying. Bezalel was gazing at the window of a stationery shop when he noticed a very smart-looking pen. It looked just like the pen his uncle had given him as a gift. I wonder how much my uncle paid for it, he thought. Bezalel walked into the store and approached a salesman at the register. How much is that pen in the window, he asked. The salesman was sure that Bezalel was interested in buying the pen. He was very happy. He smiled kindly and told Bezalel the price. But Bezalel was not interested in buying the pen at all. By asking for the price, he had caused the salesman to become very hopeful. This kind of behavior is called deception. Bezalel deceived the salesman and then caused him to be disappointed when he left the store empty-handed. What should Bezalel have done? He should have told the salesman immediately upon entering the shop that he was not interested in purchasing the pen. He was only curious about the price. This way, he would not have transgressed the prohibition of deception. Another example is asking someone a question that we know he can't answer, only to embarrass him. It is also forbidden to say to someone who has suffered in some way, "Do you know why that happened to you? Because you did something wrong. Hashem sent you a punishment." Causing a person to feel bad in this way is also included in this prohibition. It is very difficult to do teshuvah for pain that we cause other people through our words. It is impossible, Yeladim, to take words back once they are spoken. We must be very careful when we speak. Think twice before you speak once. Remember, Yeladim, we did that project at the beginning of the year, and I think we did it mid-year, when we made a heart on a piece of paper, and then we crumpled up the piece of paper like it was not nice things we said. And we said, "I'm sorry," it opened up the heart, but the heart still had those little crumples on it. Because once you say something not nice to someone, it's always there. You can't take it away, even if you say, "I'm sorry." So that's why we have to be so careful before we even talk to make sure that we say something nice. And Yeladim, you should know it's hard for children and hard for adults. It's something we're always supposed to be working on. And that's why we read these Parashat year after year, so that we have a reminder about the amazing midot that we should have. Just don't think of it's not just the first grade thing we have to work on. You'll have to work on it second grade and third grade. It's always good to review these things, even for a Mora. There are two kinds of deception. There's deception that we do with our words, or there's deceiving through money. An example of deception with money is selling something for more than it's worth. Hashem considers the one that we do with our mouth even worse, because money can be returned, while words, once you speak something not nice to someone, you can never take it back. Helping others. The Torah commands us to act kindly to one another. When we sense someone's in trouble, we must try to help him right away. If we wait, he may soon be in even greater trouble. If your friend does not seem to understand the material he is studying for a test, it is a very big mitzvah to try to help him. You should not wait for him to fail the test, and only then offer to help him study for the next test. Mr. Shimoni was a rich man whose business took a bad turn. Overnight, he was suddenly in a very large debt. Helping Mr. Shimoni right away is a very great chesed form of chesed. Waiting until Mr. Shimoni is very poor and then helping him would be called tzedakah. Chesed is even greater mitzvah than tzedakah, so it is better to help him right away. Yitzchak spots his friend Shlomo walking down the road. Shlomo is not walking steadily. It looks as if he's about to fall. People call out from the distance, "Yitzchak, give Shlomo a hand. He's about to fall." "What's the rush?" thinks Yitzchak as he shrugs his shoulder. "If he falls, I'll help him get up." Just then, Shlomo loses his balance and falls into the mud. His trousers become covered in mud. Wouldn't it have been better for Yitzchak to have helped Shlomo before he fell? We should always be quick to come to another's aid so that we won't have to say later, "If only I could have helped him earlier." Okay, tomorrow we're going to read a story, Yeladim, that's going to remind us the importance of chesed, going and trying to help others. Have a great day.